All right, so we're back for another deep dive. And today we're tackling Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Okay.
It's a book that's sold like millions of copies.
Yeah.
It claims to reveal these secrets that the rich teach their kids about money, stuff that the poor and middle class, don't really get.
Right.
We've got some excerpts from the book itself. Let's see if we can kind of pull out the core concepts.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is really built around this idea of the two dads.
Okay.
He had his own father, right, his biological father, and then his best friend's father.
Right.
And he calls them the poor dad and the rich dad.
Right.
And they have just very different ways of looking at the world and money.
And it's not just some theoretical thing. He really lived this,
Right.
Like he had to navigate these two totally different perspectives on success, and that really comes across in the book.
Yeah, and so he uses that as a way to kind of challenge the conventional wisdom about money. He argues that, the poor dad, who kind of represents the middle class mindset, is all about job security and a good salary. But the rich dad really emphasizes this financial independence.
Okay.
And he does that through building assets, right?
Well, instead of just working for money, like the rich dad is saying money should be working for you.
Yeah.
But he goes even further. He's saying, redefine what you think of as an asset.
Yeah, and this is where I think he gets a lot of people.
Yeah.
He looks at, even a house, right? A lot of people think of their house as an asset.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's like, well, it depends. Like, if you have a mortgage on it, if it's taking money out of your pocket, that's a liability.
Wow.
It's not putting money in your pocket. So the rich dad is all about, assets that generate income.
Okay.
That's a rental property.
Oh, I see. Or businesses.
So even something we traditionally think of as an asset,
Right.
if it's not generating income, he's saying maybe it's a liability.
Exactly. Yeah. This is blowing my mind already. I've always thought of my house as an asset, but I'm starting to see it differently now.
Yeah. It's about changing the way you think. Not just about buying things, but creating a system where money's coming in, even when you're not working.
That's where that whole rat race thing comes in, right?
Right.
Where he says most people are stuck, working, paying bills.
Yeah, just kind of on that treadmill.
Yeah.
Going nowhere.
Never really getting ahead.
And he lays a lot of the blame on the traditional education system. He doesn't think it gives people the tools, the financial tools that they need to really succeed.
Right. So it's this lack of financial literacy.
Right.
He says that's keeping people in this rat race.
Exactly.
But he gives strategies for escaping it. And one that I found really interesting, maybe even a little bit controversial, is this idea of paying yourself first.
Right.
That sounds kind of irresponsible, right? Like before you pay your bills.
Yeah, to some people it does. But the idea is, by putting your own financial well-being first, even before you pay your bills, it forces you to be more resourceful.
I see.
So it's almost like this pressure to create more income.
So you're not just reacting to bills, you're proactively building that financial foundation.
Exactly.
Like forcing yourself to be more creative and find those ways to increase your income.
Yeah, it's about shifting your mindset. Instead of being an employee who's, just working for money, be an entrepreneur who's building assets.
Okay.
And sometimes that pressure of pay yourself first is what forces you to do that.
Right.
To get out there and find a way to make it happen.
And it's not just about working harder at your job, right? It's like building this system.
Yeah, he uses this story about a pipeline, right?
Yeah.
Build the pipeline builder. This guy, he spends time building this system that delivers water to the village.
Okay.
And then it runs without him. He's created this passive income.
I love that example. It's so clear. So you're not trading your time for money. You're creating the system that works for you.
Exactly.
Even while you're sleeping.
Leveraging your time and resources to create something that's sustainable.
Okay.
But he doesn't just talk about that, right? He digs into the psychology of money, too.
Right. Yeah.
It's not all just numbers and strategies. It's about getting over fear and doubt.
He uses this great analogy of a briar patch. And he says we have to navigate this briar patch, which is like all our anxiety around money.
Yeah.
To get to financial success, we have to confront that fear of failure, that fear of loss.
He talks about choosing your thoughts rather than just reacting emotionally. Don't be a Chicken Little when it comes to investing.
I love that.
Don't be so afraid that you miss out on opportunities.
Right. Don't let fear stop you from taking those calculated risks.
He contrasts Chicken Little with Colonel Sanders.
Okay.
Who didn't let fear stop him. He just went out and, fried that chicken.
He kept frying.
Yeah. That's what he wants people to do.
So it's not about being reckless. It's about having that mental toughness
Right.
to face those financial fears.
Make informed decisions.
Yeah.
And he talks about learning from those who have done it.
Okay.
Find a mentor.
Right.
Learn from someone who's navigated that briar patch already.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Someone who has already achieved what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
They can help you avoid those mistakes and make faster progress.
Okay.
But he's not just talking about like finding a financial advisor.
No.
It's about finding a rich dad,
Yeah.
like someone who can give you a totally different perspective on money and success.
Yeah, that's what he learned from his rich dad,
Yeah.
right? This whole outlook that was just different.
Yeah.
He wants you to find that person in your life. And then also keep learning. Go to seminars, read books, just immerse yourself in that world.
Okay.
Really dig in.
So it's about being proactive,
Yeah.
not waiting for opportunities to come to you. It's actively seeking that knowledge out.
Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to money.
And that's really where I think Rich Dad, Poor Dad shines.
Mm.
It makes you question, what you've been taught about money.
Mm-hmm.
It really encourages you to think differently about creating wealth.
Yeah. Move beyond that 9 to 5
Yeah.
and explore what's possible with, entrepreneurship and investing.
And he's not just telling you what to do. He's trying to get you to develop that understanding,
Right.
create your own path.
He wants you to think for yourself.
Yeah, become financially literate.
Yeah.
Take control.
That's it. That's financial freedom right there.
Absolutely.
It's about understanding the rules of the game
Mm-hmm.
and then using those to your advantage.
Yeah, playing it strategically. This is great stuff.
It is. It's a lot to think about. And one of the things that, really stands out in Rich Dad, Poor Dad is how he looks at taxes.
Okay. Yeah, this is a big one.
It's definitely controversial.
Right.
He's not saying evade taxes, do anything illegal,
No.
but he is saying understand the system.
Right.
Use it to your advantage.
It's a hot button issue, for sure, especially for folks who believe in a more progressive tax system,
Yeah.
taxing the rich and all that.
Right. And Kiyosaki, he pushes back against that pretty hard.
Yeah, I remember he even calls Robin Hood a crook.
Yeah, he's not afraid to make bold statements.
No.
His point is, the wealthy corporations, they have the resources.
Mm-hmm.
They have the knowledge to find these legal ways to lower their taxes.
Okay.
And sometimes that burden shifts to those who don't know the rules as well.
So he's not advocating for like handouts or anything like that.
Hmm.
He's saying empower individuals.
Right.
Teach them financial literacy, teach them smart investing. Don't
Exactly.
just, try to redistribute wealth.
Don't be a victim of the system.
Yeah.
Understand it.
Play it strategically.
Yeah.
So it's a shift in mindset, really.
It is. It's about moving from this mentality of, scarcity to abundance.
Mm.
He believes the opportunities are there.
Mm-hmm.
People just aren't trained to see them.
He talks about, finding something for free in every deal.
Oh, yeah. That's a classic Kiyosaki move.
Yeah. Yeah, not just getting a return on your money, but actually getting something extra, finding that hidden potential.
He's a master negotiator.
Right.
Always looking for ways to get more out of the deal.
And he's not afraid to, go against the grain. He talks about making millions buying real estate when everybody else was like running away.
Yeah, he's a contrarian for sure.
Yeah. Sees opportunity in those down markets.
He sees value where others don't.
Yeah. It's that Colonel Sanders mentality, right?
Absolutely.
Like, fry it. Take action.
You got to have courage to do that,
Yeah.
to go against the crowd.
Trust your gut. Do your research.
Make those decisions. He also talks about, managing your emotions when you're investing. He tells the story about his friend's son who wanted a car.
Okay.
And instead of just buying him the car, the easy way out,
Yeah.
he challenged him.
Sure.
He's like, okay, you want a car, learn about investing.
Okay.
Learn how to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Make the money to buy the car yourself.
Such a great lesson.
Yeah, it is, right.
Teaching that financial responsibility,
Yeah.
taking ownership. But, not everyone has a rich dad in their life.
Right.
And I think that's where he really emphasizes the value of mentorship, finding those experts, getting their advice.
Absolutely. A good mentor, can save you a lot of heartache.
Right, costly mistakes.
Speed up your progress. He even talks about paying your brokers well,
Okay.
if they're really good.
If they're the real deal.
Yeah, professionals.
Proven track record.
People who are aligned with your values,
Mm-hmm.
and they're really in it to help you.
They'll help you reach those goals.
Yeah, it's worth it to find those people.
Absolutely. And,
Yeah.
and invest in your own financial education, too.
Yeah, read, go to seminars, take courses.
Yeah.
Immerse yourself.
Yeah, get in there.
That's what he did.
Knowledge is power, right?
It is, especially with money.
Absolutely. And then there's his cash age flow game. I've heard about this, never played it.
Oh, you got to try it.
Okay.
It's fun. It's a great way to learn
Okay.
about personal finance, investing, cash flow.
So it's not just about the theory.
No.
It's like putting those principles into practice,
Yeah.
seeing how it works.
In a safe environment, you know?
Yeah,
A simulated environment.
right.
You get to make those decisions and see what happens.
He compares life to a game, too, you know? It's like we're always making these choices
Right.
that impact our finances.
Mm.
But most of us are just kind of playing passively. We're not
Yeah.
really being strategic.
He wants you to level up, you know?
Yeah.
Become a more sophisticated player.
Understand the nuances.
See those opportunities.
Yeah. Be comfortable taking some risks.
Calculate the risks. But one of the key takeaways from that game, I think, is the power of passive income.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
That's the key to freedom.
Hmm.
Creating wealth without being tied to a job
Right.
or a location. You know,
Location independent.
you can be anywhere, but it takes work.
It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Right?
No, you got to understand the principles.
You got to put in the time.
You got to build it up. He wants you to think long term.
Okay.
He asks, you know, what kind of income do you want to work for?
Okay.
How can you keep more of the money you earn?
Right.
How can you protect it?
Right. So many good questions.
Yeah, get clear on those answers.
Yeah.
That's your roadmap.
To reaching those goals.
Yeah,
Okay. And this is where things get a little bit controversial again,
right.
because he starts talking about how corporations are structured
Yeah.
to minimize their tax burden.
He's lifting the veil on some of these strategies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That most people don't know about.
Right, right.
He's talking about deductions, you know, reducing taxable income,
Okay.
trusts, foundations, protecting assets.
Wow.
It's all legal,
Yeah.
but it's stuff that, you know, the average person might not know.
Right, and that's his point, right?
It is. He's like, you know, this tax the rich thing.
Mm-hmm.
It often backfires on the middle class.
Right.
Because the wealthy have the resources
Mm-hmm.
to find these loopholes
Yeah.
and minimize their burden.
So he's saying, educate yourself.
Exactly.
Protect your own interests.
Become financially literate.
Yeah, don't just blindly accept what you're told
Right.
about money, about taxes.
It's about empowerment
Yeah.
through knowledge.
He also talks about the difference between, like, your profession and your business.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they get those confused.
Mm-hmm.
They focus on their career,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't build their own business.
Right. Or invest. He's saying you got to mind your own business.
Okay.
Build your asset column.
Right.
Create passive income.
Create that system.
That's how you become truly independent,
Okay.
free from working for someone else.
So he's not just talking to, like, entrepreneurs.
No.
It's like he's encouraging everyone.
Think like an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
even if you have a job.
Yeah, build those assets. Have multiple streams of income.
Take control.
Be financially intelligent.
Yeah.
Don't be a bystander. He doesn't sugarcoat it either.
No, he doesn't.
He talks about how, you know, people end up struggling.
Mm-hmm. Because they work for someone else all their lives.
Yeah.
Their employer, the government, the banks.
Yeah.
He's like, break free from that.
Yeah.
Have money work for you.
That's the key.
It's a path to freedom.
Yeah.
Get out of that rat race.
Build a life on your own terms.
It's about abundance.
And it's not about getting rich quick, right? It's
Yeah.
about that solid foundation.
Right.
Building that financial intelligence.
Sustainability.
Yeah, sustainable wealth.
He also goes back to this idea of managing your emotions, right? We were talking about Chicken Little.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Fear, how
Yeah.
it can paralyze you,
Mm-hmm.
prevent you from taking those risks.
Right, hold you back.
And then he brings up Colonel Sanders again.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, who faced all those rejections,
Yeah.
setbacks, but he kept going.
Yeah.
That's what successful people do.
They don't let fear stop them.
They learn from their mistakes.
Right.
And they keep moving forward.
Fry it.
Fry it.
I love that.
It's such a great line.
Yeah, it's about taking action.
Overcoming that fear.
It's so empowering. And then he talks about laziness,
Oh, yeah.
which I think is interesting.
He says, you know, busy people are often the laziest
Okay, that's a new one.
because they use their busyness as an excuse.
Right, to avoid taking action.
Exactly. On their financial goals.
Yeah, we've all been there, right? Just so busy with life.
It's easy to put things off.
Yeah, I'll get to it later.
Stop making excuses. Get out of your comfort zone.
He compares it to going to the gym.
Yeah, the hardest part is getting there.
Yeah,
But once you start, you feel better.
you build momentum.
You get results.
Yeah,
And he always comes back to this too.
Okay.
Mentorship? Find those people
Mm-hmm.
who have done what you want to do.
Right. Find your rich dad.
Yeah, he learned so much from his.
Yeah, he really credits him.
He's like, find those people in your life
Right.
who can guide you,
Support you.
offer a different perspective. They can really speed up your progress.
And what makes rich dad, poor dad so, I don't know, readable? He uses these stories, right?
Oh, yeah, he's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
He brings those principles to life.
Like the one about the two contractors,
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's a classic.
Who are hired to supply water to a village.
Right.
And one guy, Ed, he just gets 2 buckets and starts hauling water.
Yeah, hard work.
Working hard, trading his time for money.
Right.
But the other guy, Bill, he's thinking bigger.
He's thinking like an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He's building a system,
Yeah, he develops a plan, builds a pipeline.
creates leverage.
So Ed is stuck.
Yeah.
But Bill has created this passive income.
And eventually he can just, kick back and relax.
The water's flowing.
The money's coming in.
Yeah, he doesn't have to work so hard anymore.
And Kiyosaki's point is you can learn to operate in any of these quadrants.
Okay, remind me, the quadrants are?
You got E for employee, S for self-employed, B for business owner, and I for investor.
Got it.
Uh-huh.
So it's not about where you come from, it's about your mindset.
It's about your willingness to learn.
Being open to new possibilities.
He believes anyone can achieve financial freedom.
That's a powerful message.
It is.
But he's also very clear, it takes effort.
Right. You got to put in the work.
It's not going to happen overnight.
No, it's a journey.
And he doesn't shy away from some of the harsh realities.
Yeah, he talks about how people struggle.
Because they're working for someone else their whole lives.
Their employer, the government, the banks.
They're building someone else's dream,
Exactly.
not their own.
He's like, flip the script.
Yeah, mind your own business.
Build your assets.
Create that passive income.
Take control of your financial destiny.
He's offering a way out,
Yeah, a path to freedom.
a way to break free from that rat race.
Build a life on your own terms.
It's about abundance.
Opportunity.
It really is.
It really is. And one of the things that he really dives into is this idea of good debt versus bad debt.
Okay, yeah. A lot of people are weighed down by that bad debt.
Right. The kind that just drains your cash flow.
Yeah.
Doesn't help you build wealth.
Right. Credit card debt, things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so he wants you to think of debt strategically.
Okay.
Use it to acquire assets.
Okay.
Things that are going to appreciate.
Right.
Things that are going to generate income.
Okay, so it's not about avoiding debt altogether.
No.
It's about leveraging it.
Yeah, he gives examples of how he's used debt to finance real estate, to grow his businesses.
So use debt to build that asset column, not to, fund a lifestyle you can't afford.
Exactly. He's really cautious about using debt for depreciating assets.
Right.
Like cars or luxury items, things that are just going to lose value over time.
They go down.
Yeah, and he really wants people to understand that debt can be a powerful tool,
Mm-hmm.
but it can also be a trap.
Right. It's all about how you use it.
Exactly. Manage it carefully.
Make sure it's working for you, not against you.
Yeah.
And then he kind of goes even deeper into the system itself
Right.
and how the wealthy use it to their advantage.
Yeah, this is where things get really interesting. He
Yeah.
talks about how corporations structure themselves
Mm-hmm.
to minimize their taxes, how the rich use trusts, foundations to protect their assets.
Right.
They utilize leverage and other advanced investment techniques.
It's like he's revealing these strategies that most people don't even know exist.
Right. He's pulling back the curtain.
Yeah. But he's not saying, cheat the system.
No.
He's still advocating for playing by the rules.
It's about financial literacy,
Okay.
empowerment through knowledge.
Become more financially savvy.
Yeah. So you can protect your own interests.
Level the playing field. But it's
Yeah.
not just about the money. He also talks a lot about personal development,
Yeah.
like aligning your goals with your values, your
Yeah.
purpose.
He believes that true wealth is more than just money.
Mm-hmm.
It's about living a fulfilling life.
Balance, purpose.
Yeah, he encourages you to invest in your personal growth.
Mm-hmm.
Develop your emotional resilience.
Become more resilient.
Yeah. Cultivate gratitude,
Yeah.
and the sense of abundance.
It's like a holistic approach to wealth,
It is.
recognizing that it's not just about the numbers.
Right.
It's about your whole life.
Yeah. Your well-being. And he even gets a little bit spiritual, too.
Oh, yeah.
He talks about money being this form of energy.
Okay.
And if you align your thoughts, your beliefs with abundance, you can attract more wealth.
Yeah. It's a concept that, not everybody's going to buy into.
Right.
But it's interesting to think about.
It is. It's about your mindset,
Yeah.
your beliefs.
And he talks about, cultivating gratitude, generosity,
Yeah.
abundance.
It's about giving back.
What you give out comes back to you.
Exactly. And one of the things that makes his message so powerful, I think, is that it's based on these timeless principles.
Okay. Yeah.
The specifics might change,
Yeah.
the markets change, the economy changes,
Right.
but those underlying principles, the financial intelligence, building assets, managing cash flow,
Those stay the same.
those are always going to be relevant.
Yeah. Yeah. And so he's encouraging people to develop their own philosophy,
Yeah.
adapt to those changing conditions.
Keep learning.
Keep learning. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
like, don't just follow my advice blindly.
Right.
Learn the principles, develop your intelligence, create your own path.
He wants you to be an independent thinker,
Yeah.
critical analyst.
A savvy investor.
Yeah. Make those decisions for yourself.
Be in control.
And he's always evolving, too.
You're right.
He released an updated version of Rich Dad, Poor Dad
Oh, wow.
to address, the changing economy,
Right. Keep it
the
current.
challenges people are facing.
Yeah, he's not just resting on his laurels.
Well, he's engaged.
He's out there, always thinking, always learning.
Yeah, and one of the things I really respect about him is he doesn't pretend to have all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
He encourages you to think critically,
Okay.
question assumptions,
Right.
develop your own strategies
Based on your situation.
based on your goals. He wants to empower you
Right.
to become your own financial expert.
Not just follow him blindly.
Exactly. And as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into Rich Dad, Poor Dad,
Yeah.
he leaves us with this question. How many days forward can you survive?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is, right? It really makes you think.
Yeah. It's not about how much money you have in the bank right now.
Right.
It's about how you're set up.
Your ability to generate income.
Yeah. To maintain your lifestyle.
Without relying on a paycheck.
Right. So it's a challenge
It is.
to look at your habits.
Your investments.
Yeah, your whole strategy.
Think about passive income, building those assets.
How you achieve that freedom. So
Yeah.
how many days forward can you survive?
Yeah,
It's a question we all need to answer
it is.
on our own financial journeys.